Hi, my name is Caitlin. Thanks for joining me for this practice for self-expression. From a comfortable, easy seated position, take a deep breath and let it all out. Maybe shake it out a little bit. Maybe do it again. If it feels comfortable and accessible, I invite you to practice ocean breathing or ujjayi breath. We'll find a slight restriction in the back of the throat and maybe inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose, sort of creating a whisper or as if you were listening to the ocean in a seashell. If you have somebody next to you, maybe they are hearing you breathe right now. Take a few more rounds of this breath if it feels comfortable. If not, breathe however you want. No rules here, this is your practice. Today's practice for self-expression is centered in the concept of satya, or truthfulness. According to Michelle Cassandra Johnson in the book Skill in Action, satya means to speak the truth. Dominant culture perpetuates the belief that there is one narrative. Moving beyond the idea that only one truth exists allows us to create space for dialogue, authenticity, learning, opening, and understanding. Throughout today's practice, I invite you to explore what this means for you. How does truthfulness and authenticity relate to your life? And if you've closed your eyes, I invite you to flutter them back open. We'll begin with some neck rolls, maybe rotating one ear to one shoulder, then chest comes to chin, and then opposite ear to opposite shoulder, following our breath as the guide, moving from side to side at a pace that feels manageable for you and supportive for your body. Maybe giving yourself a slight smile, reminding yourself of why you showed up today. And we'll take it into some shoulder shrugs. Maybe shoulders come up towards the ears and then release back down. A few times in one direction. Maybe switching, going the opposite direction at a pace that feels good for you and your body. Next, I invite your hands to come to your shoulders. We'll make small or large circles with our elbows, as if we were drawing on the walls with the ends of our elbows. Maybe going the opposite direction now. Using the breath to guide us through these movements. Being mindful of the sensations. Maybe hands come to knees now. If you've sat in a cross-legged position, I invite you to switch the cross of your legs. Next, we'll move into some seated cat-cow movements. Chest comes forward, gaze looks up, and then exhale, spine rounds, chin comes to chest. Inhale, heart pushes through. Exhale, round the spine. Go ahead and take these two movements and cycle between them at a pace that feels good for you, following your breath, maybe inhaling in one direction and exhaling as you move into the other direction. We'll return to a neutral spine now, and maybe inhale, our hands come up above our head, reaching for the sky. One hand finds the ground, the other hand reaches over towards the side, finding a side body stretch here. Inhale, hands come up above, and exhale, reaching towards the other side. Using the breath as our guide, inhaling, our hands come up. Maybe we'll try it again on both sides. Finding a neutral spine. Next, we're going to move into some seated twists. So perhaps one hand comes to the opposite knee, and the other hand may reach behind you. Gaze can look over the back shoulder or towards the sides. We inhale, our spine grows tall, and exhale, maybe find a slight twist. Remembering to breathe here. And we'll exhale back to center. And we'll repeat on the other side. Hand comes to opposite knee. Inhale, spine tall. Exhale, slight twist. Remembering our breath. And we'll return to center. Take a breath. And now we'll transition into tabletop, where hands and knees on the mat, underneath our shoulders and hips respectively. If you have a blanket and you'd like to use it, you can place it underneath your knees for extra cushion. And blocks could be handy in the next coming poses as well, so I have them nearby. Make any adjustments throughout your practice as you need, and we'll find tabletop rooting down into the hands, pressing into the palms and the fingers, maybe tucking the toes, and lifting the hips up and back. We're going to find a downward facing dog. Our body looks like an upside down V here. And maybe you press one heel and then the other into the earth. Blocks can help support lifting the ground a little bit closer to you. Making any movements that feel good in your body. Taking a breath here. Next, knees come down to the earth. Arms reach towards the top of the mat. Maybe hips sink back towards the ankles. Child's pose. Again, any organic movements are welcome that feel honorable for yourself today. Breathe here. Maybe come back to the intention of truthfulness and authenticity. We'll inhale back up to a tabletop. Maybe tuck the toes. Grab your blocks perhaps. You can put them on the second or the lowest setting. And we'll press back into a downward facing dog or an upside down V shape. Remembering your breath here. Taking time to notice any sensations. Maybe taking a few steps up to meet your hands. Now we're in a forward fold. Let your head hang heavy here. Bend your knees as generously as feels good. remembering to breathe. Maybe hands come to opposite elbows, and you can invite a little sway if that feels good. We'll slowly roll up to standing. Maybe your head is the last thing to rise. And we'll reset. Go ahead and shake everything out. Do a little wiggle. Maybe reset your props. Next, we'll inhale, our hands come up above, and we'll sink back like we're sitting in an invisible chair. Hips sit low. Maybe arms come to cactus. We'll reach towards the floor. Forward fold. Halfway lift, flat back. Your hands can rest on your shins or a block. And we'll exhale, finding ourselves in a plank position briefly as we lower the knees, the chest, and then the chin. Maybe the toes tuck, and we press ourselves up to a downward facing dog, upside down V. Pedaling the feet if it feels good. Maybe grabbing your blocks here. And we're gonna move into a lunge type of shape. So one leg comes up, maybe lifting the blocks on the highest setting. Back foot heel is up. If you feel steady, maybe arms come lifting above the sky. Maybe the heart comes forward, arms come into cactus. And reaching towards the sky, we'll come back down towards the ground. Taking a breath. Maybe hands plant towards the floor, and we push back to downward dog again. Opposite foot steps forward, between the hands, maybe with the blocks. Explore what setting feels best for you, and when you feel steady, hands can come to the hips or above. Maybe cactus the arms, reach above, and then we'll come back down. Step it back, knees come to the ground, press the props out of the way, and maybe find yourself on your belly. Hands are placed underneath the shoulders if it feels good. And we'll do a baby cobra here. So engage the glutes, and the chest shines forward, finding a baby back bend here. Lowering back down to the earth. Maybe toes tuck, downward dog. Walk the feet up to meet the hands, forward fold, halfway lift, using the block as support if that feels good. Coming back to a forward fold, and then we'll inhale, arms come up, we sit back into the invisible chair, and release, Tadasana, mountain pose, standing. Shake it out, wiggle it out, maybe move the props aside. Next, we'll find a wide-legged stance where one foot is facing towards the top of the mat and the other foot is facing the long edge of the mat. Maybe hands come to hips and you find a bend in the front foot or the front leg. If that feels comfortable, maybe bring the arms out to a T, Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. And we'll inhale, hand comes up, maybe back hand finds the thigh, And we'll cartwheel the hands down, maybe to the floor or the blocks, lifting the back foot and stepping back into a downward facing dog. Breathing here. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So coming back up to a forward fold, we'll raise up to standing and begin with our wide-legged stance on the other side. So opposite foot faces the short edge of the mat, opposite foot faces the long edge of the mat. Maybe a bend comes in that front leg, hands to hips if it feels good. And if you feel like it, we can bring our hands to a T, maybe lift towards the sky, back hand reaches towards the thigh, and we'll cartwheel back down to a lunge. Step it forward to a forward fold. Slowly roll up to a standing pose. Maybe roll the shoulders back and down and reset. Great job. Take your time, find your breath. If it's accessible, maybe find a strap or a sweater or a scarf nearby. We'll put it in our hands behind our back. And slowly and at a pace that feels good for you, find a forward fold perhaps. Maybe arms lift off the back towards the sky. Only go as far as feels good, using the strap or your sweater or a scarf as necessary. Breathing, and slowly we'll lower the hands back down and raise the chest back up. Taking a moment to breathe, notice any sensations. And we'll begin again. Forward fold, hands behind our back holding the strap, and maybe hands lift up towards the sky. Breathe, and slowly lower the hands back down, raising the chest back up. Neutralizing the spine, making any micro movements that feel necessary for you today. And set your props aside. Arms maybe come up and we'll swan dive forward, forward fold. Maybe palms come to the floor or blocks and we find a downward dog. Knees lower to the ground than maybe the belly. Maybe your hands come underneath your shoulders if it feels good, and we'll engage the glutes and lift up for a Sphinx pose. Maybe forearms are on the floor. Elbows can be close to the body or further away, whatever depends on your body and what feels good. Just remember to breathe here. Pressing the feet into the floor. And we'll release back down. Taking a moment to breathe, honoring ourselves where we're at today. We'll come into our second time for Sphinx pose. Maybe making any adjustments if it felt necessary. We'll remember to breathe here, engaging the glutes, pressing the tops of the feet into the floor, and releasing down to the earth. Maybe press up and back, hips to ankles. Maybe arms reach towards the top of the mat, child's pose. Take a moment to remember your intention for today's practice. Truthfulness, self-expression, authenticity. We'll come back up to table and back to our bellies. If the strap or scarf is handy nearby, we'll use that around one foot, maybe bending the knee so that we can reach the foot and put the strap around one of them. Holding onto the strap with the same arm on the same side. And we'll inhale, maybe pulling both the leg and the arm up at the same time with the strap. Breathing here. And releasing back down. And then we'll switch sides. Wrapping the strap around the opposite foot, knee bend so you can reach it. Hold on to the strap with the arm on the same side and pull as you push your foot away, lifting off of the ground the thigh and the arm, remembering to breathe, and exhaling, releasing back to the ground. Setting the props off to the side. Next, maybe create a little pillow with your hands for your forehead. We're going to rest in crocodile pose for a moment or two. Finding our breath if we've forgotten it. Noticing how it may feel different than it did at the beginning of our practice. And maybe palms come to the floor. We'll lift ourselves up through tabletop and back into child's pose, hips to ankles, maybe arms reaching towards the top of the mat. On your next inhale, press up through tabletop, and we'll find ourselves in a seat. Maybe knees are bent, feet come flat to the floor, and we'll slowly lower ourselves onto our backs. If it's nearby, you can grab your block, or a pillow will work, or even a folded blanket. We're going to press our feet into the floor, lifting our hips enough so that we can wiggle the block or the prop underneath our hips. Maybe arms come along the body. Knees can be bent or straight depending on your comfort of the low back. And we breathe here. We can allow ourselves to feel supported by the props and by gravity. Making any micro adjustments that feel necessary to aid our comfort. And when it feels good, maybe removing the block, lowering the hips back to the ground. I invite you to draw the knees in towards the chest. Maybe give yourself a little hug, rock and roll from side to side if it feels good on the low back. Maybe we'll find a spinal twist. Legs come to one side, draping over. Gaze can follow or towards the opposite side of the room. We'll bring the knees back up through center and then let them fall to the opposite side. Remembering our breath, remembering why we showed up today, allowing ourselves the acceptance and grace to be here right now. Draw the knees in, maybe give yourself a final hug, roll out the low back if it feels good. And when you're ready, maybe the legs come back long and arms can be draped by your sides. Take up as much space as feels good. Our final resting pose, or shavasana, allows the practice that we just did to sink into our bodies just a little bit more. If it feels safe, maybe close your eyes or bring them to a heavy gaze. Draw a deep cleansing breath into your nose and exhale through your mouth. Now allow gentle, easy breaths through your nose. As you are breathing, notice the rise and fall of your belly. Notice the rise and fall of your heart center or chest. Begin to breathe full and complete breaths in through your nose. Exhale slowly through your nose. Full and complete breaths in. Exhale all the way out. Arrive fully in the moment. Slow down and lengthen the breath. Become quieter and quieter, still, open. Move your awareness to your heart. Sense the beating of your heart. Connect to your heart's energy, power, vibration. Relax into your heartbeat. From the space of your heart, observe the way you are living your life right now. Allow yourself to see clearly who you are with others. How do you wish to express yourself? Connect with your creative power, a power that radiates from your heart center. How does it feel when you express yourself? When you speak your truth? When you stand up for others? Or when others stand up for you? Release all your fears. Release all your fears that you can't express yourself. All the fears that say you will not be accepted. Be willing to express your true self, however you choose, in all areas of your life. Allow the self-expression of your being, not being bound by any label, any image, any box, by any thought, conditioning, or belief, not binding others with limited thoughts or beliefs. Accept yourself just as you are. Accept others just as they are. See no limits. Allow yourself to be calm, content, open, slowly uncovering who you are and who you wish to be, what you wish to create from moment to moment. Return your focus to the sensation of your breath moving through your nose. I invite you to deepen your breath, maybe sending air into the belly, the chest, and then the collarbones, and letting it all out with a heavy exhale. Slowly invite some small movements into your fingers and toes, your ankles and your wrists. Maybe rock your head from side to side. And in your own time, as it feels good for you, I invite you to come back up to a seated position. Thank you for joining me in this practice for self-expression.